UAW Local 699 begins their contract rollout. We'll tell you how this one is different than the last, coming up next.
I'm Andrew Keller. A local sports venue is holding on to hope that they can save what goes on in these walls. I'll have those details coming up.
And on the screen to my right, we have yesterday's record-breaking warmth, temps in the 60s. And to my left, we have a big change in the air mass for much colder temperatures. And regardless of which one you prefer, we'll tell you which one's headed our way in your full forecast.
You're watching WNEM TV5 News at 10, Mid-Michigan's original hour-long 10 p.m. news.
Next year, employees are now seeing the fine print on the new tentative agreement with the company.
And they could ratify that new labor deal by the end of the week. Thanks for tuning in to TV5 News at 10 on My5 and streaming at WNEM.com. I'm Colette Boyd in for Meg.
And I'm David Custer. When a tentative agreement was made nearly 2 weeks ago, it led to a one-day strike that brought work inside the plant to a halt.
That's right. So what are they saying about this new deal on the table? TV5's Nick Lelly went to Next Year tonight to find out. Nick.
Yes, some workers say there are mixed feelings about the deal, while union leadership says it's a good agreement. Now, it took an overwhelming vote from Next Year rank and file and a subsequent strike to get us where we are now. As a part of this new deal, starting wages will increase by $2 an hour. Employees won't have to share in health care costs, and they'll also get a $2,000 signing bonus upon ratification of this new contract. Now, when I spoke to union leaders tonight, they said the strike proves that the union system is still working.
During that strike, we've seen very good solidarity from membership, and I feel we came up with a great agreement now that addressed all members' issues. And I'm very pleased about this contract.
Now, there will be more rollout meetings starting tomorrow, as well as that vote, which will take place on Thursday and Friday. And of course, we will let you know as soon as those results come in. Reporting live in Buena Vista, Nick Lelly, WNEM TV5 News at 10 on My5.
Thank you, Nick, for that. And we have posted the entire 100-page contract on our website. Just click on the hot link section of WNEM.com.
Well, it certainly was a chilly day as we look live over Saginaw tonight, but we've still got a ways to go before the mercury stops falling. Here's Chief Meteorologist Brian Bachman with the first look at that chilly forecast. Hi, Brian.
Hi there, David. It certainly did fall off in the last 24 hours, but only to levels that are actually normal for mid-November. So we're not quite where we should be for this time of the year just yet, but we will be getting there by the time the end of the work week rolls around, and likely at least through a good chunk of the weekend too. Here's a look at things tonight though on your First Warn 5 Sky Tracker. And the one thing we haven't been able to shake, even though we got rid of most of the showers and, you know, kind of all the wet weather that kind of came with yesterday's system, we haven't really been able to shake the clouds. Now, we might have a couple of clear patches here and there developing, but the general trend overnight will be for mostly cloudy, if not completely overcast conditions. And that will be an increasing trend as we go into the day tomorrow. So even if we do get a few clear breaks tonight, they're going to be short-lived because as we look over to the west, sure, things are quiet here now. In fact, we're being dominated largely by high pressure. You see this disturbance rolling its way through the Central Plains tonight. That is going to start a trek toward the north and east, bringing it into the Great Lakes region. You see it's producing a pretty good amount of snow, but we'll show you how much is ultimately going to get here in a little bit. As for our temperatures tonight, 41 is the current reading in the Flint area under an overcast sky. Also overcast and a bit chillier in Saginaw at 37 degrees. The wind's producing a little bit of a wind chill, mostly down into the low 30s and at times middle 30s. 39 is the current temp Bay City, 38 in Alma. And as we go through the day tomorrow, showers will return, but the above average temperatures not quite done just yet. All the details on the rest of your week coming up in your full forecast.
Brian, thank you. New tonight, kids hoping to get in some after-school basketball were met by an unpleasant surprise today.
That's right. A local gym providing courts and even lessons to thousands in the community might be closing its doors. TV5's Andrew Keller has more from Genesee County.
The owners say there's a lot of good that happens within these four walls, and they hope that they can save this business. But they say then there's reality.
And I poured my life into this place, and so is my partner.
Luke Lloyd spends his nights teaching basketball skills to Flint area children. He says it's his passion and love. A few years ago, he and his partner took over the Hill Street Hoops building, which has basketball, also a weight room and tennis courts. But says in that time, the building has fallen into disrepair.
We can't fix it up because it's not our building. We can't come to a solution with the owners, and unfortunately, we're in a situation that our hands are kind of tied. We have we have to kind of move on.
Because of problems, most notably a leaking roof and inadequate heating, Lloyd says members are leaving, and it looks like he's going to be forced to close the doors. Parents say the news is shocking.
It's a very big loss. It's really too bad that it would be happening. I hope they can pick back up somewhere else.
Honestly, I still have hope that we can save it, but it's going to be a miracle for sure. So
Lloyd says that they're going to continue negotiating with the owner in hopes that they'll come up with some type of agreement. In Grand Blanc, I'm Andrew Keller, WNEM TV5 News at 10 on My 5.
All right, Drew, thank you. We reached out to the owners of the building tonight, but we were unsuccessful. Now count on TV5 and My 5 to bring you the latest as it unfolds.
I, Karen W. Weaver, Mayor of the City of Flint, declare a state of emergency in the City of Flint.
Well, just over a month after being elected the mayor of Flint, Karen Weaver declares a state of emergency. That's in response to the ongoing water crisis around the city. It's a story creating national headlines, contaminated water that health officials are still telling people not to drink.
Today, Mayor Weaver made good on a campaign promise, and it appears things are moving in the right direction. Weaver was just granted a full hearing before the Genesee County Board on January 4th. She hopes to get more state and federal money to fix the problem.
But County Board Chairman Jamie Curtis says the emergency declaration comes as a complete surprise, considering his own attempts to get on the same page with the mayor.
I have reached out to the mayor. I've met with the mayor at public events. I give her my personal cell phone number. I asked her if I could meet with her so that I could discuss issues that are pending that I need to get her up to speed on that involves both units of government.
Now, the Genesee County Board of Commissioners must approve the state of emergency declaration before it can go to the state. It's not clear which way they'll vote on January 4th. Now, if you want to get caught up on how the Flint water crisis has reached this point, check out our special timeline on the WNEM homepage.
And tune in to CBS News this morning beginning at 7 a.m. on TV5. Adriana Diaz will have a special report from Flint on the water crisis.
An update now to a local woman's fight to have an abandoned home next door removed. Tanya Green thought that the home next to hers was slated for demolition 2 years ago. The home is an eyesore, and Green says her attempts to get Buena Vista Township to remove it have been fruitless. But the township spoke to us tonight and says the home is owned by the Saginaw County Land Bank. The township is trying to find funds for blight removal, but has not yet done so.
Developing news, more than 50 dogs are now recovering after being rescued from what police are calling a puppy mill. The dogs were found living in small wire cages in the basement of a Mayo home in Oscoda County. The ASPCA wants this to serve as a wake-up call for those involved in the practice.
Michigan has animal cruelty laws, and I would like to see those enforced. Yesterday, we spent time really documenting that evidence. We'll be turning that over to the prosecutor and the sheriff's department, and we anticipate criminal charges being filed in this.
Most of the dogs are expected to be okay and will eventually be adopted out.
A local police dog is recovering after receiving a gunshot wound today. It happened during a traffic stop on Flint's north side. A passenger with a gun fled the scene, so state police called in canine units to help. During their search, a pit bull attacked the canine named Zeke. An officer shot and killed the pit bull. That bullet grazed Zeke as well. We're told Zeke is doing fine tonight after a few stitches. The armed suspect is also in custody.
Police are searching for a woman who went missing over the weekend. 41-year-old Emmy Mondo was last seen in Saginaw Township on Sunday. Around 6 p.m., she called her son to ask if he needed anything from the store. That was the last time anyone heard from her. Mondo was driving a 2006 gray Chevy Trailblazer. If you know of her whereabouts, contact Saginaw Township Police.
More local news now. A mid-Michigan woman is dead after an accident involving an Amish buggy. It happened Monday evening around 5:30 on Beaverton-Clare Road in Beaverton Township. That's in Gladwin County. A work van collided with the buggy, killing 31-year-old Sarah Stutzman. 3 Amish children were also hurt. 2 people in the van were not injured. The sheriff's department believes weather and traffic conditions were factors in that crash.
The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services reminds you to make sure your children are vaccinated against chickenpox. The agency reports outbreaks in Grand Traverse, Calhoun, Muskegon, and Wayne counties. Most of those cases involved unvaccinated children in school.
Well, the Los Angeles Unified School District took the rare move canceling classes and closing all schools today after receiving an emailed threat.
New York police said they received a similar threat but downplayed the seriousness. Steve Nons has more.
Please be advised that all schools will be closed for students today.
The second largest school district in the nation closed all of its more than 900 schools and told its 640,000 students to stay home Tuesday after receiving an emailed threat from overseas.
Thank you for meeting with me.
Los Angeles School District Superintendent Ramon Cortinez said recent events and heightened security concerns precipitated the move.
I think the circumstances in a neighboring San Bernardino, I think what has happened in the nation, I think what happened internationally, I, as superintendent, am not going to take the chance with the life of a student.
Meanwhile, New York authorities said they received a similar threat, but said it was important not to overreact.
The email that was received in New York City, which is similar and almost exactly the same as received in other locales, specifically Los Angeles, that we do not see that as a credible terrorist threat, and we are investigating it as a hoax.
While acknowledging a hoax was possible, LA Police Chief Charlie Beck said the threat was very specific and warned against being too critical.
Southern California has been through a lot in the recent weeks. Should we risk putting our children through the same?
I'm Steve Nannis reporting.
Well, coming up in our second half hour, General Motors making a big investment in mid-Michigan.
Yeah, what it means for workers in Flint and Saginaw.
A guest at a hotel is upset over the service and decides to take it out on the building.
But first, the latest GOP debate is underway in Las Vegas. We'll have highlights on some of the biggest moments coming up.
Listen to this. We now have more than 154,000 people following us on Facebook. We want to say good evening and thank you to Bonnie Osowski for posting on our wall. You can join the conversation too. Just click the like button at the top of our Facebook